Hello and welcome to another episode of World Tour on Football Manager 2021, where we're in charge of Chennai City and we've just finished the end of our second season. Now, you may have come to this episode expecting to see us in the Indian Federation Cup semi-finals, but unfortunately that wasn't to be. So last episode, we of course beat Kashmir 4-1, which means that obviously we got drawn against them in the Federation Cup quarter-final, and obviously we lost. So we lost the first leg 1-0, narrow margins, very early goal for them from Rijal after 6 minutes. We won the second game, Christian Saba scoring an early penalty again, but then it went to penalty shootout. Look at the draw, and the luck was not on our side. So we got knocked out of the Federation Cup at the first stage this season, which means today's episode is the season review episode. So we start off by taking a look at the players that have been inducted into our overall best 11 from this season. So Christian Saba is apparently the pick of the 4 players. He got 7 goals in 15 appearances with an average rating of 7.24. Of course, he only came in, I think, was it Christmas Day he signed officially? Yeah, so he didn't even play the full season, but he still managed to get himself into our best 11. Shankar Ali, the centre midfielder, Sampath Raj, the left winger, and Utpal Kumar, our goalkeeper, were the other players that have been lucky enough to become part of Chennai City's proud history. So now let's have a look at the season review. The official season review. So this little bit about the new arrivals. We've got a B rating from the board for our transfers. They're very pleased with the deal to sign Christian Saba, due to making him agree to a lower wage, but also I'm guessing due to his performances because they've been outstanding, especially when you compare him to our only other signing, who apparently gets an A. The board, that's how happy they were with the transfer. Okay, I get it. So the board were happy that we managed to sign him, but of course he's now moving on. He's moving to Bengaluru, who I believe are in the Indian Super League in real life. Of course, that's not a licensed league on the game. But yeah, so he's leaving for about 26 grand, I think. Transfers out, I mean, we made a lot of them. Kiran Das, they're pretty pleased with him leaving. Robin Singh, they're content with him leaving. Pleased with Singh Pandra leaving, whoever he is. There's lots of players that we didn't really know here. VJT, of course, played a few times for us last season. They were satisfied with his release. So we're going back all the way to... Was he signed for Chennai? I didn't realise there was a team called Chennai. Interesting. So we're going back all the way to the end of last season now with these releases. There's not really any... Jackson Das, I guess. Well, now Jackson Das is done. He's played in the Asian Confederation Cup. Good for him. Well done. Well done, Jackson. Chennai must be a Super League team as well then. Just skip forward through that. So we'll head to the season's results. So a season to remember, apparently. I mean, we did finish one place better off than last year. So we were apparently one of the competition's feel-good stories, defying expectations. And thanks to an impressive spell of form in December that saw us move into first place, we were able to celebrate a job well done. Now, if you look at this, you can see the story of our season, really. Draws, lots of draws, too many draws, if anything. We had 8 draws, only 8 wins as well. We had not the joint highest number of draws. TRAU draw specialists, 11 games out of 20 that they drew this season. That is some top work there. But we were expected, obviously, to finish mid-table, despite, I believe, the board wanted us to finish in the top half of the table, if I remember rightly. But we've managed to finish in the top half of the table anyway. We finished 4th. Like I said, one position better off than last season. Our average home attendance was 29% of the capacity. I think that's a similar level to what it was last season as well. And then our top scorer was Ligio Francis, who got 10 goals from the right wing position. I'm pretty sure he got a fair few assists as well. And the board are delighted that the team achieved a top half finish in the National Football League this season. So here are our moments to remember. Of course, our biggest win was a 4-0 victory over Sadeva. Ligio Francis getting a brace in that one. Shihab, the surprise penalty taker, also in that game. And then Ronaldo grabbing one of his few goals. To be fair, he had few opportunities to get goals because he didn't play as much as I would have expected before Saba came in. The match to remember was apparently our 2-0 victory over TRAU. I think that's probably because we hadn't managed to beat them up until that point in all the games that we played against them. And then goal of the season was a great strike from Shankar Ali. Shall we take a look at that? Okay, so here we go. Charles Anandraj had the ball, played it to Ali. I think he takes a few touches and then just has a dig, doesn't he? Yeah, he does. Just smashes it. Brilliant goal from him. He's very good at scoring the long range efforts. Is old Shankar. Now, the finances, let's have a look at these because we've actually got something to compare them to. Obviously, last year we didn't have anything to compare them to. Our club reputation has remained the same. It's national. We don't have any new sponsorship deals to talk about. Annual revenue, we are down this season, 50.3k, only slightly down compared to last season's 50.87. Broadcast revenue is down as well. Corporate and hospitality down a little bit. Competition prize money down a lot. That's because we didn't get as far in the Indian Federation Cup as we did last year. And then match day commercial and retail is also down. So finance is not looking too great at the minute. Total merchandise sales is 34 grand. That doesn't really mean a lot to me. And then we've sold 1,333 shirts. And Ganga was our most popular shirt seller. Opoku, without a number, was also apparently quite popular. I guess that's just because of his reputation. Then Saba, the Prince, and Francis. Interesting to see the Prince is still up there, despite the fact he had a pretty poor season in front of goal last time out. And this is how we lined up. So apparently, we definitely did. We rotated the team a fair amount this season, but our key players played a major role in how the season turned out. And this is apparently our best 11 for last season with Kumar in goal. He was a stalwart, 21 appearances for him across the season at the back. Sujatran at right back, he played 21 times as well. Mario Dasan and Jude Felix Nixon. Jude Felix Nixon, of course, playing a lot less games than Mario Dasan did because he had the injury and I think he picked up a few suspensions as well. Francis Nganga playing 20 games too. Ali, Bhupathi and Mather were our first choice central midfield trio, and you can tell from the number of games that they played as well. And then Elijah Francis, and then Sampath Raj made the left wing position his own. It was David Lionel Praveen that was leading the way in that role at the start of the season, but Raj managed to take that off him. I can't remember if that was just through poor form from Praveen or injury or what, but yeah, Raj did a great job at left wing this season. And then of course Christian Saba, game changer when he came in, managed to get himself 7 goals this season, 3 assists. Elijah Francis got a few less assists than I thought there. Quite a few. He only got 2 assists. And then Francis Nganga with 5 assists is what you like to see. I keep getting in news in my inbox about him obviously getting worse as a player because he's closer to 40 than he is 30 pretty much. But his attributes up until this point, obviously his physical attributes are going down, but his technical ones have been going up apparently. Every time that I've looked, there's been little up arrows next to them. So that's interesting because I did feel like it was almost time to start benching him, especially come the end of the season. I did try and do that in the 2 games that didn't really mean anything at the end of the league campaign. But I feel like he can still do a job for us. We'll have to see how he comes back into pre-season. If his attributes have drastically gone down or anything, we might have to think about his starting position. Now for the accolades. Unfortunately, no manager awards this season. There's quite a few player awards. So we'll start with the club awards. So the fans player of the season is Mario Dasan. Young player of the season is also Mario Dasan. Signing of the season, of course, is Christian Saba. There was only between him or Opoku. And since Opoku never played for us, there was only ever going to be one winner. But Saba, not taking anything away from him. He's obviously had a great season. Goal of the season, as we spoke about, was Shankar Ali. Top goal scorer, also spoke about that, Elijah Francis Nganga. Top assister. Most player of the match awards was Mario Dasan. I think he got that award last season as well, but he only got 3 man of the match awards this season. Highest average rating was Christian Saba with a 7.3. And players haven't won any competition awards this year. Now, record breakers, this will be interesting because, of course, this is our second season. So last year there was a lot of record breakers because we didn't have any records to break. I don't think. So most overall goals by a player in a season, Elijah Francis has won that record with 10. Same with most league goals by a player in a season and most goals by a player in a match, where we got 2. Most goals by player in a league match as well. Goals there. I don't know why I said goals after saying that name of the record, but you got 2 goals there. Most clean sheets by a player in a season. Utpal Kumar taking the record with 9. Worst discipline is Naveen Sujathran with 6 yellow cards across the season, which is pretty awful. Most league appearances by a player overall in his career, 59 for Charles Anandraj. Oldest player, Francis Nganga, our veteran at left back, 36 years, 322 days. Fastest goal was Ronaldo, who scored just after 1 minute and 10 seconds. And then our oldest goal scorer was the 29-year-old, the Prince. So that's it for the season review, but we'll take a look at our seasonal performance analyst report. So apparently we're performing pretty close to average in the general performance this season. It looks like we've conceded a few more per game compared to the average, and our XG is a bit lower per game compared to average. Passing percent is higher, though obviously we play a short passing game, a possession-based game. Looking at XG, our average XG per match was 1.4. Our XG overall was 16.9, but we actually scored 27 goals, so that's doing better than the XG. Last season, I think we did worse in all of these in comparison. Our expected points was 28.9. We actually managed to do a bit better than that as well with 32 points. And our expected points position was 5th, which is of course where we finished last season, but we actually managed to get 4th. So doing a bit better than expected there. Defensive efficiency, we are apparently quiet but leaky, meaning that I think it was the same last season. We're not troubled very often, but when we are troubled, we tend to let goals in. Attacking efficiency this year was passive and clinical. So I think, I'm not sure what that means. I can't even work out what that means. So obviously clinical, we take our chances when we get them. But then I'm thinking about some of the games where we had like a ridiculous number of shots and only 2 of them are on target. So that might be the passive part where we just decide to shoot whenever. But if we get a good chance, a clear-cut chance, we're more likely to take them. That's what I'm going to take from that part of the report. So I have, of course, signed a new 1-year extension to my contract because we can't leave until we win the league. And I don't think there's necessarily a team that's far and away superior to us in the Indian National Football League that I can move to and be like, definitely going to win the league. So we're staying another season with Chennai City, and this is our club vision and expectations meeting. They want us to play possession football. It's the same as last season. Work within the wage budget, maintain a top half finish. I'm going to just accept that because I'm happy with that. Squad dynamics update, and the dressing room atmosphere is very good. It's gone slightly down. It wasn't excellent at one point. Managerial support for me is excellent. We have 2 team leaders in Bhupathi and then Ganga, 1 highly influential player in Charles Anandraj, and then a handful of influential players too. So now it's time to discuss plans for next season and the end of season team meeting. And I don't want to say we're going to win the title next year. So I'm going to say we can finish in the top half again. Okay, that's a good reaction. So when Ganga says, come on guys, boss is right, finish in the top half. And I'm going to outstretch my arms and say that's exactly the sort of reaction I was after. Beautiful. Once you all return from your holidays, we can discuss promises for next season. I'll see you all when you get back. Oh no. I'm not really sure that was what was required from in terms of promises, but I guess we'll all just move on. That's not gone well. Oh, it was looking all so rosy after that first part of that meeting, but I just seem to have messed that up. The players wanted me to make promises, but I didn't. So the dressing room atmosphere is now down to good, but at least my managerial support's up at excellent still. We'll sort that when they come back from pre-season. I'm sure they'll forget about it. So what we're going to do now is we're just going to take an individual look at how each individual player has improved across. It's across either the last 6 months or all time. I'll go with across the last 6 months because 6 months ago was sort of the beginning of the season, just after. So we'll start with the goalkeeper, Utpal Kumar. His communication and kicking have both gone up in terms of his goalkeeping attributes. this season, which is good to see. A few of his mental attributes also going up as well, including concentration and composure, which is good. He's done a very good job for us at the back, and he's probably going to continue to be our goalkeeper moving into next season. Next up, Narasimhan Kunayil. You can see here there's not much improvement made by him this year. His concentration's gone up a little bit, balance up a little bit, and vision has gone up a little bit. His aggression is his best attribute, but obviously that makes it his worst attribute because he's an angry so-and-so. He did have a few games for us this season, filling in for Felix Nixon, but I wouldn't like to make that the norm. Not yet, anyway. We need to try and sort out his aggression, I think. Pradison Mariadasan, he hasn't improved much this season at all. His leadership's gone up to 3, but other than that, everything remains the same for him. But he's still a solid centre-back, our best centre-back, and obviously was voted best player of the season and best young player of the season too. So we can't really complain about his lack of movement in terms of his attributes. If a player's attributes haven't improved, I'm not going to show them in this video, but we'll continue with Nikhil Raj. So a few of his mental attributes have gone up in the past 6 months. His anticipation, his leadership, his positioning, and his teamwork. So he's still a young player. He's still got time to improve even further. And of course, he's the guy that we're hoping to fill Nganga's boots at some point in the future. He needs more game time. He needs more assistance in getting a little bit better, I think. And then Sampath Raj, our left winger, his crossings improved this season. Penalty taking and technique has gone down a little bit. Composure is up. Concentration and decisions down alongside teamwork. But his flair has gone up, as has his agility and balance, with his pace slightly declining. He's looking away from the attributes. He's played very well at left wing this season. And again, I believe he's still quite young. Yeah, he very young. He's 16. So plenty of time for him to improve even further. And another one of our youngsters, another 16-year-old Ronaldo, of course, had that amazing debut last season. I believe it was in the Federation Cup where he managed to score a few goals in that competition. His finishing has gone up this season, as has his heading, composure, flair, off the ball, positioning, vision, balance, stamina and strength. They've all gone up. And again, he's still young. He's got 15 determination, so he should improve by quite a bit. He just needs to keep getting a bit of game time. Obviously, he's not getting as much game time as I would have thought before Saba signed, but he's still getting some. And speaking of Saba, he has improved in his long shots, his passing, his technique, his anticipation, easy for me to say, composure, flair, off the ball, teamwork, and stamina this season. And I mean, it's not like his finishing or his heading really need that much more improvement. And he's shown that in how clinical he's been in front of goal. And unless I find a world-beaten striker in the transfer window, that's not going to happen. We're probably not going to have any money to spend in the transfer window. And up front isn't really the area that we need to strengthen. I'll get into that in a little bit when we discuss what we do need to strengthen for the transfer window. So Saba's probably going to be our starting striker again next season, I imagine. Now for our regular right back this season, Naveen Sujatran, he's had some poor performances. He did average this season, let's say, but he is obviously still young, like a lot of our team are. His first touch has gone up, his teamwork's gone up, and his stamina and strength have both gone up as well. Is he as young as I think he is? Let's just check. Yeah, he's another one of our 16-year-olds. Thinking maybe I'm putting too many 16-year-olds in the starting lineup, but we managed to finish 4th this season with quite a few 16-year-olds, so I can't be doing that much. We can't be doing that much. We can't be doing that much, but that badly. We can't be doing that badly. There we go. We got there in the end. So now looking ahead to what sort of transfer dealings we may be looking to do in the transfer window. You can see here, this is our squad depth based on current ability and what our coaches think the players are rated as from a scale of great to poor. I'm a bit shocked to see that Elijah Francis at right wing isn't in at least the good category there. But the areas that I was thinking of strengthening before looking at this was obviously right back, because we have 16-year-old Sujathran. We have 16-year-old Sujathran currently playing there, and he's not had the best of times. We've been struggling in that area since the start of the game, to be honest with you. We've never had someone that's been able to put in consistent performances in that position. So if we can find, it'll have to be an Indian right back. So if we can find an Indian right back, then that is good quality. Then we will be signing him up. There was someone that I was looking at, but he just recently transferred to a club and didn't want to talk to us, basically. And then the other position, key position that I'm looking at to strengthen is at centre-back. Of course, we were found a bit short this season when Jude Felix-Nixon got a long-term injury, and we had to play the youngster with the aggressive side, Kuniyan. I think that was his name. It's so bad I don't know my own players' names. Kunayil, that was his name. Narisimhan Kunayil. Yeah, so we had to play him at times this season, and I don't want to have to rely on that. So if Maridasan or Felix Nixon picks up a suspension or gets injured next season, I want to have a good, decent cover for them. Again, I've been looking at a few options for this. I've made a few transfer offers, but nothing's come through just yet. There is a player I'm watching who is Chinese, so of course would be allowed to be our fourth foreign player because he's an Asian player. We might look at bringing him in on loan if we can't find a permanent centre back on the free transfers or on the little bit of money transfer side of things. Other than that, I'm definitely not going to strengthen up front. I think having Ronaldo, our youngster, coming through, having Christian Saba, who's solid, and having the Prince as a backup, hopefully as long as he can start scoring goals again, we'll be fine there. At left wing, I'm very happy with Praveen and Sampath Raj. Right wing, happy with Leisure Francis and Pravito Raju. Centre midfield, we've got a plethora of options. Shankar Ali, we've got Bhupathi, we've got Charles Anandraj, we've got Varun Mather. The possibilities are endless there. We have a few youngsters as well at centre midfield, and we also have a very good youngster in Aaron Rodriguez attacking centre midfield. Left back, we obviously have Nganga. Left back could be an area that I look to strengthen after I've got a right back and a centre back, if I can get one. Obviously, we, as I've said earlier in the video, we have Nganga, but he's getting on a bit, and I'm not 100% sure that Nikhil Raj can climb up to the level that he needs to be soon enough. In terms of staff, there are a few staff contracts that are running out at the end of the season. I'll deal with them the way I do at the end of every season, which is I look and compare their attributes to what's available on the market, and if there's anyone better, I'll replace them. If not, they'll stay. But we have the highest average in the league for everything apart from goalkeeper shot stopping. So I'm not really in a rush to change anything there in terms of the staff. So just before we end this video, I thought I'd take a little look with you to the finances section. And it's not looking healthy at all. I think at the start of the season, we had about £600,000 in the bank balance. It's now 75,444 and going down every single month. Scouting budget, you could see how I've highly overspent on the scouting budget, 52 grand over, and the wage budget or committed spending for next season is 9,108. Our wage budget's 9,016. Of course, there should be, I think there's definitely a few people leaving on free transfers. I'm not sure if I told you, but I've re-signed BJ Shetry to another season. Was it another season? Yeah, I've signed him for another season. Mainly as backup. I put him as a future prospect, but I don't really believe that. Mainly just as defensive backup more than anything. And I'm pretty sure I re-signed Pratik Kumar Singh to a 1-year deal as well. He's signed as our backup goalkeeper too. I went into the negotiations being like, if he accepts the role of backup, I'll offer him the contract as long as he's not asking for more wages. He actually asked for less, I think, slightly less wages. which was nice, and accepted the backup role. So not going to complain there. But yeah, heading into the next season, we've got a transfer budget of 25,000. But if I have to make adjustments to that to allow for the wage budget to be in the green, so to speak, or the black, what is it that they say? It's in the black, isn't it? Because if you go in the red, then you're negative. Yeah. Then I'm not sure how much money we're going to have to spend, and I'm not sure how many players we're going to have. I'll show you my shortlist at the minute for the positions that we're looking at. So I've got it filtered to Indian players. Top guy Lalram Chulova is already transferring to someone, so we can't look at him. Seriton Fernandez, I think I've looked at him in the past. He's not great. His tackling's 8, which is good. 7 marking. His heading's lacking, but he might be an option actually. Oh, but that's the reason why. He's 29. Technically doesn't break the buying players under 30 rule because he will still be 29 by the time the transfer window opens, but not a fan of that, I don't think. Saying that, I bought Francis Nganga. He was like 34. I don't know what I'm talking about, to be honest. The other right back on the list is Boris Singh of Churchill Brothers. His marking's 7, but his tackling is 3, and he's not really got any other standout attributes apart from his first touch in terms of his technical. So I don't think he's an option. But Seriton Fernandez could be an option. Maybe if there's nothing else, and it looks like we're going to be stuck with a 16-year-old again at right back for the season, then I might look at getting him. At centre-back, the other position that we're looking to strengthen, there's a few options. There's Narendra Gallo. I believe I tried to sign him, but he's just signed for someone. I think that was him. And then there was also Mellery Ladinsanga, who I tried to sign, but he didn't want to even discuss a contract with me. And no, with Gallo was asking for, his club were asking for too much money. You can see there, the scout report suggests 65 grand. We don't have that. So I might look at one of these players too. And then at left back, we're very short on options for as far as our shortlist goes. But this guy actually looks quite decent. He's 20. Oh, okay. We could have ourselves a new left back there. Nungram. That's 11 grand. We might be able to stretch our budget to that. Interesting. In terms of our personal growth, so to speak, in the game, we're still studying for our Continental B license. When I got offered my contract, they insisted on putting in a percentage of club compensation required for managerial role clause. So they obviously think that I might be about to get, what's the word? I was going to say stalked. Headhunted, that's the word. They obviously think I might get headhunted by a larger club. They've obviously, of course, got the relegation wage drop in there. But yeah, we've got the contract through to the end of next season. But hopefully we can manage to win the league next season and move on away from India. So in the next episode, we will start our 3rd and hopefully final season with Chennai City. It may be the later stages of the Durand Cup that I come back for if we make it that far, or it'll be the start of the league campaign. I'll run through any transfers that I make in the meantime in that episode too, and we'll see if there's any change to our tactics in our starting lineup. It's all a great unknown right now. But that is it for this episode. I hope you've enjoyed it. If you did, make sure to hit the like button, subscribe to the channel to get all my content when it comes out, hit the notification bell to stay notified, and I'll see you next time.